Greetings. Much love, you know what I'm saying, to my peoples. How y'all doing this evening? I hope very good, you know what I'm saying? I hope very, very good. You know, I want to come before y'all with this cool transmission this evening to share light, right? To shed light on a variety of topics dealing with where we stand as a people and where we going as a people. Each one teach one. So, for the sake of each one teaching one, that's what I'm here to do. To share the teachings, you know, in a certain perspective that will meet the need of our ability to comprehend these life-saving teachings. Now, to resume from where I left off at, with the other transmission dealing with 9 to the 9th power of 9 mind, part 1. This is 9 to the 9th power of 9 mind, part 2. Now, for instance, right, in this society that we living in here, that we call home, the United States of America, in reality is our indigenous lands. Now, black people's minds, right, have been affected by certain psychic attacks that render us in a unfortunate psychological conditioning. So, to reverse the effects of that psychological conditioning takes work to get ourselves out of that condition mentally back into a mentally fit state of mind through exercising a concentrated effort to eradicate the programming out of our minds and replacing our mind that actually operate like a computer, right? Our minds are programmable. So certain things that we have picked up and learned over time can be unlearned, but we can relearn certain knowledge, right? That will enable us to be completely re-educated. And that's what this divine work is for, to completely re-educate our minds to get back into our true culture that we are to remember, that's in our DNA. Within our DNA, right, holds the greatest library of the universe. It's amazing with how we are manifestations of the great creator and the creatress universe with unlimited powers. Now, this particular line of reasoning is taking me to the reality of certain projects that have been put in place to affect our people in a certain way, to put us on mental and spiritual lockdown. But there is a divine intervention where we are to become mentally and spiritually liberated. So there's a war of good and evil going on, to the point where we have to make our minds up to say, you know what? I'm going to shake off the dross that was put on me and put on the real armor of the Most High, which is clothed in certain spiritual powers that enable us to exercise certain magical abilities that work in service of us having a authentic consciousness that's connected with the original teachings of our ancestors. Because when we are out of our minds, meaning having a sixth ether mentality, our people, you know what I'm saying, take upon themselves to be within what's called a falsified consciousness. And that's what we see in a lot of sectors on a daily basis in our communities. Brothers and sisters are products of a falsified consciousness as a result of certain perpetrators, though, right? Who created the reality. It's messed up, man, for our people to have what's called a falsified African consciousness. So who are we? Strangers in a strange land, to the point where little do we know that our people have been products of what's called the Negro Project by certain racist minds, right? Who is so relentless in believing in a certain doctrine that taught that we were inferior to these people, which in reality is a misnomer and a bold-faced lie. So by me saying that, there's evidence of these people who perpetrated these so-called ideas of pushing this agenda for us as a people to possess what's called a falsified African consciousness. That particular level of consciousness produced a mindset that contributed to a lot of unholistic ways in terms of how we see one another and view one another and interact with one another. So the psychic attacks that was perpetrated by these people, right, was to create in us a state of confusion through lack of knowledge on purpose, when it was funded with certain persons who have unlimited money, right, to create these circumstances that cause us to be in a certain struggling state of affairs on a political level. So here we are fighting these powers, or are a lot of our people stepping up to the plate and fighting these powers. Because think about it, after all, here in the United States of America, not to mention the Pan-African ideology. Now, specifically here though, here in the United States of America, we're face to face with the idea that's called multiculturalism. In this multiculturalism, right, are we experiencing equality? What are we really expecting in the society of multiculturalism that constitutes to be what's called a melting pot? What are we melting into in this specific pot? Like the ideology that the sister Queen Afua stressed or brought up about in this book here. The Sacred Woman, which is a great read. May all our sisters, purchase and patronize and buy one of the books and get off into the book and read the reading material and retain the wisdom contained herein, right? For the purpose of cleansing and really learning how to relate to us, y'all natural mates by nature. Got a lot of work to do as far as cleaning our nation up, because we live in an era of time to where we have to be renewed mentally. We have to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. This information that I'm articulating is not for an ostentatious purpose at all. The nature of this transmission, of this light code transmission, is for these certain terminologies to be well inculcated in our consciousness. For instance, the melting pot topic that I just enunciated about, that the sister Queen Afua touched on. Wait a minute. What are we melting into here in the United States of America? When yet there's a lot of conspicuous discrepancies when it comes to certain social treatments. You know what I'm saying? To where we see the economic inequality, the regentrification, urban removal, urban renewal, but yet, is this a competition where we are to beat people to the punch and buy up properties, to where in this melting pot are we losing ourselves, where we being morphed into a certain cultural identity of other people other than our own African, Nubian identities. Ask yourself this: what ingredient do we make up to be in the ingredients of this particular soup of people or gumbo of people in this melting pot? What is our identity in this melting pot? Do we have our identity in this melting pot, or are we assimilating into a construct that is under the control of European domination dictates, to where we lose ourselves to the point where we merge into invisibility with their cultural norms of living in their image? So where do we stand as a people when it comes to us being in what we call this melting pot? There's a lot of divine revelations that are taking place in the earth right now. You know what I'm saying? For the sake of thinking about the bigger picture, these are just certain thoughts that I think that I don't know if people or ones is having every day. Because if you notice, the American society is always under the influence of mind-altering interventions that intercept the minds of the people to be distracted with all kind of narratives controlled by people who is masters at mind control. Now I'm pointing this out because this is not like I'm talking about. This is not like I'm a bad person or I'm an evil person pointing out certain adverse forces that we shouldn't succumb to. What I'm saying is this: we are to be in our right minds by any means necessary in this age of Aquarius, in this age of information, that in terms of this information is here for us to ascertain, to transform ourselves with, and not be of a negative slave mentality that certain forces want to perpetuate. Now, in this melting pot, are we going to maintain our own identity in terms of embracing the superior wisdom of our ancestors? That would be a wise decision for us to do so. But it seems a lot of our people who look like us have estranged themselves from the instincts of their real true identity. So they have an identity crisis. So for instance, to get rid of the identity crisis, let's get off into the science of healing, do Nuwabo, Now, for instance, remember the questions and answer session, or in any of the scrolls, for that matter. I want to pursue a certain line of reasoning that is going to blow y'all minds. Now, for instance, right? Now, we waking up from a deep slumber, from a deep hypnotic spell that have caused our people to have amnesia. But yet, even though we had a certain amnesia, the other races of the planet, did they have amnesia too? Because in order for them to take a stand and attack us spiritually and physically and educationally on certain levels, that put them in a state of darkness as well, because they was operating from a position of darkness and negativity to stifle or impede upon the destiny of our spiritual fate to be the gods and goddesses that we naturally are. So, for instance, there is a book of spells that we have been victimized by that put us in a spookism state of mind, that cause us to not see things scientifically, to where we ask a certain logical question that would demystify the illusion of the spookism. Now, once again, the opening of the seventh seal was open to reveal all truth to us in the form of Nuwaubu. Now, contemporarily as Sabians, there are certain instructions for us to take into consideration in terms of how to conduct ourselves, in terms of things we are to do and things we are not to do, which serves as guiding principles that merges us into greatness. But yet, it seems that there's always work to do to make sure that no matter how smart we may think we are, we still have to be on guard against making the wrong choices. So therefore, we have to stay mentally sharp at all times, because the evil one walked to and fro in the earth seeking whom he may devour, or even whom she may devour, because those diabolical evil forces is working through men and women. You know what I'm saying? So we're not going to be fooled today by none of you disagreeables. You know what I'm saying? We understand that this is a war we in. I'm making my voice heard, right? To be free from the silence. So where my people, we are not to be suffering in silence. No. We're going to be vocal about the beauty that is within us, that we have to let out, that's a part of our self-realization. We know that we are beautiful, supreme beings, and can't nobody get us to think different now that we know. We know now. We woke up from the hypnotic spell of amnesia. But yet, for us who spiritually mature though, we have to be responsible and shed light and continue to maximize the process of us unanimously being one mind. Like how natural nature works. The highest form of nature is the cooperation of all living things. But with humanity, is everybody in humanity cooperating with one another? No. So humanity is in need of a certain education itself. Or yet, have it gotten so bad to the point where there's no need for transmissions like this, because what I'm saying is going to fall on deaf ears. It's not going to make any difference anyway. Is that how hard-headed people done become? Or yet, going back to the Bible, when it was talking about people's hearts would be wax worse. Are you one of those people whose heart is wax worse? Are you looking at this transmission right here just for an unrighteous purpose? You know what I'm saying? Because if you are looking at this transmission for an unrighteous purpose, in terms of like it's some kind of entertainment, this is not entertainment. This is beyond entertainment. Though it may be entertaining, but for a lot of you small-minded thinking individuals, may you be converted into a greater way of thinking. You see, that's the power of righteous energies. For instance, I remember I heard a master teacher one time. He was like, I'm the type of person I convert that devil. Feel me? I'm the type of person I convert that devil. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying this in the same way. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, yeah. I'm the type of brother who will convert you devils. You know what I'm saying? This is Ashu that we talking about. Divine love. You know what I'm saying? Love is the highest form of positive energy. We gotta know this. Y'all know I'm speaking a good topic right now. You know what I'm saying? In addition to articulating positive speech, you know what I'm saying, with the divine sounds of the own chant permeating through the airwaves right now. We filling the atmosphere with positivity. This is about transformation, permutation of the human species. Now watch this, right? Let's get deeper. Now here, we spoke about a particular passage, right? like I said, from the Bible or the Bible or the Biblios Helios. But let's keep things in its proper perspective, right? Now, this is going into some questions and answers where this particular line of reasoning is going to take us deeper into sound right reasoning, right? There was this question asked about a person asked the master teacher a question about a Sumerian doctrine of certain terminologies that is parallel to the Hebrew Torah in Hebrew, right? But this is dealing with the Sumerian doctrine, though. Okay, where certain terms come from. So where do you get all of these strange names like Enki and Kal-Ka'el? The master teacher respond, right? The names are Sumerian names, and they all have meanings. The Bible story that you know of is merely a copy of ancient Sumerian tablets, which were in the cuneiform language. These tablets include the Atrahasis, the Enuma Elish, the Adapha, the descendant of Ishtar to the underworld, Tammuz and Ishtar, Gilgamesh epics, and Etana tablets. These are just a few of the many that were plagiarized and makes up what you are calling the Bible today, or what we call the Bible today, right? The Sumerians tablets existed thousands of years before the Bible. Now, these tablets predate the Bible. So why aren't the Christian, Muslims, or Jewish ministers speaking about these particular texts that predate the modern day Bible, right? Why aren't they talking about them? Because of certain factors involved. To perpetuate a certain influence, to perpetuate a certain position of power, right? That work in service of an agenda that is orchestrated by them. So does it mean you will, right? To mentally get some kind of food for thought from the Bible. Because the Bible is a book of spells too. It's a coloring book. We had great teachers that admonished to us. They pointed things out to us that was forgotten by means of reproving it to us. That look, this is how you set the record straight by listening to a qualified individual, such as like one of the supreme beings amongst us, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to where he was like, you gotta overstand the book through understanding certain codes that he put forth for us to take into consideration, to decode it and see it for what it really was at that time. But then the master teacher came to even give us a deeper perspective of the proper way to dissect the scriptures and see things for what it really was, with further confirmation, that it came from previous texts that came before it. So it leads us to know who is these certain forces that put the Bible together, and we know who they are. And certain stories within, or certain stories that revolve around the Yahshua identity of the Bible, turns out to be 3 different Jesuses. You had the real Messiah, the real Yahshua, who lived 120 years old, and who was properly informed of a lot of schools of thought in the East and in Egypt, to where he taught a certain doctrine that was very influential on the minds of a lot of those people he came in contact with. Then you had another Jesus, which was Yahshua's son, that the churches don't talk about. His son name was Simon Bar Jesus, right? And this Simon Bar Jesus was the son of a lady named Mary Magdalene. And the Simon Bar Jesus and the Mary Magdalene image, they were black. So this image that the world see all over the world of the baby black Jesus and his mother Mary, the black mother Mary, holding the baby Jesus, right? That's really Mary Magdalene and Simon Bar Jesus. Now, when it comes to the Jesus stories, there's another Jesus that make up the 3. This third Jesus is a Jesus by the name of Cleophas, Jesus Justice, who was the son of a Egyptian queen or goddess named Cleopatra, where he was basically a mulatto because he was of a mixed breed with a Roman individual by the name of Mark Antony. Now, man, the Black Madonna and the Black Jesus, right? They have, the Jesus of the Black Madonna, whose real identity is Simon Bar Jesus, has a physical grave site that you can look up on the internet, to where his physical body was buried in Jerusalem. What's that, the Middle East, Jerusalem? And the third Jesus, Cleophas, Jesus Justice, the son of Cleopatra and Mark Antony, making him a mulatto, he was another Jesus of the Bible that people get mixed up thinking it was the real Yahshua. The third Jesus, his body is physically buried in India, in a location called Kashmir, India. So why haven't they distinctively pointed these things out to give clarity to people in the world who are sincere seekers of the truth, right? For our own soul salvation. Where we can be in the light of things. But to this very day, if you didn't hear that if it wasn't for you listening to me right now, hearing that breakdown of the real Jesus topics of the Bible, right? You would still be unaware of the reality who the real Messiah really was, that they still not teaching on. So sit back and just watch me how they elaborate on the characters of the Bible, especially when it comes to the real Messiah, Yahshua, who lived to be 120 years old, who made a transitional. It may sound crazy to you, right? But he made a transition to where he ascended, or passed form, or ascended, according to certain detailed information about the real Messiah, the way he went. He supposedly passed on top of a pyramid. He wasn't crucified on a cross. The certain individual who was crucified on the cross was the individual that betrayed the real Messiah. Judas, who was made to look like the real Yahshua, but it wasn't the real Yahshua. It was Judas who was put to death on the cross. On the Roman crucifix, of a symbol of punishment at that time. So correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm correctable. You know what I'm saying? That's what these knowledge and self-studies is about. You know what I'm saying? We all learning. I don't know everything, but I know something. Because I am a sincere seeker of the truth. You know what I'm saying? What, in our whole lifetime, we not supposed to be in the light of things? Our whole lifetime we're supposed to be just dumb niggas. Our whole lifetime we're not supposed to value intellectual pursuits and be preoccupied with things that put us in a drunken state, or a mentality, you know what I'm saying, to where we product of a illusory state of mind, and following after foolishness. You know what I'm saying? And misusing and abusing ourselves with no real friendships in all walks of life or something. No, it don't work like that. This is a divine time for us to get all the way right, and we rise to the occasion. Now, for instance, right, back to the Sumerian doctrines or tablets that predated the Bible, with these other particular names of these beings, right? A person asks, what is the purpose for the stories, Enki and Enlil and etc.? The master teacher responded, they are not stories. They are our past as Nubians. They were plagiarized and are being recorded for this day. Right? what were the names of the 24 disagreeable Anunnaki in the enclosed garden? The master teacher responded, the list is too long to waste time on, but get your holy tablets. You will find it all in there, right? Now, for us who have the holy tablets, we are aware of that, right? Now, speaking about the holy tablets, some people who should know better, they don't know that the holy tablets is a scripture of the sun cycle. The holy tablets is a scripture of the sun cycle. I'm saying that because now that we are in a sun cycle, we are going to need we are going to need guidance that will help us along the way to make these necessary adjustments when it comes to raising our vibration for this particular these particular changes in the galaxies, you know what I'm saying, the universe. But ultimately, right, there is a shift in consciousness in our minds and in our hearts. You see, people, be kind of putting a lot of emphasis on shifts in the galaxies, but the shifts happening in our minds and in our hearts is also of primary importance, because this is what's called a alignment time for us to line up with all the right frequencies, tones, vibrations, and thought processes. You know what I'm saying? That will enable us to properly evolve in these changing times. You know what I'm saying? So this is out of Ashu divine love that I'm conveying this message. Now let's continue to read, right? A person asks, okay, I'll look it up. As far as the 24 masters, are there any females? Now, in light of this, right, for the reason why he said this, no, Alabama, take a look at the book, The Wise Man, for more information. Now, with that said, the goddesses in the divine scheme of things are divine protectors that serve the purpose of bringing in certain birthrights through divine natural nature, through the feminine principle. We together we serve natural purposes, being one. Don't think that just because these elders are these divine masculine figure elders, you know what I'm saying, is appointed to do what they do, don't mean that they don't have feminine counterparts that is a part of that divine process, because we work together in all areas of this divine existence as the divine masculine and divine feminine. Don't get it twisted at all. Now this continue to read, right? A person asks a question. How do we tell the difference between hologram images and real beings? We going deep tonight. We going deep right now. Now, ponder on that, because dealing with these certain technologies that certain beings is operating and utilizing, dealing with the CERN machine and the HAARP machines, Project Bluebeam, etc. There are psyops, psychological programs that's being implemented to trick the people for whatever reason, to meet the need of that certain matriarchic manipulation, right? Them programs is in place to accomplish the great feat of mind control. But where are people going? That's why when the divine saying about choose this day who you gonna serve, because if you don't use your mind, someone will use it, baby. There is a great competition, you know what I'm saying, to capture the mind. You know what I'm saying? So, in capturing people's minds, you know what I'm saying, meaning your mind has been infiltrated by some external force. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of stuff to protect ourselves against. Walk-ins, disembodied spirits, you know what I'm saying? That's dealing with certain astral realities. You know what I'm saying? And thought forms. Look. The psychic self-defense that we have to protect our mind, you know what I'm saying, against certain possessions is real. You know what I'm saying? So to protect our light requires internal work of the inner being, the inner man, the inner woman. You know what I'm saying? The inside. There's a certain work that has to be done from the inside out. That's why this is an inward journey. You know what I'm saying? An inward journey where we are to turn ourselves inside out. You know what I'm saying? As Nubians, 9 ether beings who are 9-mind qualified. Now this goes on to read, right? As far as the master teacher identifying himself in a certain perspective in terms of who he is on the planet, doing the great works that he have done and continue to do, that we are beneficiaries of, right? To where we is in the mentality that he is in as light beings and light workers. Okay, the master teacher say, see, oh, he was talking about the person who was leaving, but as far as answering that question about how do we tell the difference between hologram images and real beings, real people. In holographic images, the colors are split beams. the red light giving off an amber hue. Natural color is from the green light of the prism. Thus, the colors are more real. The color green is a pure luminous light and is the color of the archangel Marduk. Now, Marduk in Babylonian, Melchizedek in Hebrew, Michael in Arabic, Melchizedek in Greek, Michael in Latin, Malachi in Hebrew. Now, so Dr. Malachi Z. York. Malachi in Hebrew is signifying the warring angel Michael. In Hebrew, who is also known as Al-Kedar, the green one. Right? In the Quran, for he possesses a green light, a force that he directed to sustain and heal things. It is controlled and directed to humans by Al-Kedar, the green one, who is the supreme angelic guardian over the earth, the physical plane of the earth. Now think about that for a minute. Hold on, just calm down, relax. Just think about that. Now, who can match the unmatchable supreme wisdom of Al-Kedar or Malachi, who come like the sun with healing in his wings, where like Yahshua brought a certain message to the lost sheep of the house of Israel only, but yet others is benefiting from the healing energies and ethers of the message. You know what I'm saying? As far as those who is considered outside the lost sheep of the house of Israel, the Gentiles or Goyams, are still desirous to benefit from the spiritual food from the master's table. That we have access to, that's healing us. Now, just continue to read, right? I had made a statement about us being cleansed from the inside. This is an internal work we have to do to cleanse ourselves within. Right? Now, the person say, that's interesting that you said that, because I read somewhere that if you are in a certain mood, it displays a certain color. Is this true? The master teacher respond, right? This is very true. The colors that are seen around you is your halat or aura, according to Webster's dictionary, right? The compiled edition. And aura is defined as an emanation to give forth as from a source, said to come from a person. Hold on, we gotta make sure I own shit. That's back, baby. Gotta make sure this long chat 100. There we go, baby. Yo, we back. Live and direct. Live and direct. Live. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I'm a straight KRS-One fan, baby. Egg B and Rakim, you know what I'm saying? Check it out though. Guru Gangstar. Oh, it don't stop there. You know what I'm saying? Tribe Called Quest. But let's get back here dealing with the Tepi Hesp, the Halat, or the Aura, right? Now this was speaking about the aura said to come from a person or animal's body, right? Now, the aura regards moods are reflected in colors, which is present at all times. So when you look at certain people, right, you notice a certain energy around them or air around them, whether it's agreeable or disagreeable, right? All of our bodies give off vibrations that pulsate from the central nervous system that's made up of the brain and spinal cord, and it emanates from our body up to possibly to a significant distance. I'm gonna just put it that way, right? Now these moods are reflected in colors, which is present at all times in humans as well as other living organisms, including the planet Earth. See, we learning something. We learning things here, man, when we get involved with our true spiritual science about our relationship with our self, the cosmos, and the earth. Look, it's a beautiful day that we are living in, you know what I'm saying, where we can maximize our development mentally with infinite supreme mathematics. This is not about, like I said earlier, it's not about ostentatiousness. This is about Ashu, divine love, communicating, you know what I'm saying, with the star seeds and the gods and the goddesses. And this goes on to read. And for viewers, listeners, and supporters who just are interested in learning something new, where they can catch on to the frequency of right knowledge. Now, for instance, right, once again, moods are reflected in colors, which is present at all times in humans as well as other living organisms, including the planet Earth. There is a voltage and current between his crown or coronal seat, known as the Taj, which is located at the top of the head, and the roots or basic seat, which is located at the base of the spine. The magnetic force field, right? Or negative and positive charges is your aura. The magnetic force field for the magnetic force field, right? Or negative and positive charges is your aura. So our aura is made up of a magnetic force field that has colors that reflect the mood of the individual or reflect the mood of ourselves. So as far as us being in control of our emotions and moods, we will give off a certain air as a result of the way we are thinking. So may our thoughts, right, and may this transmission here, right, look, may this transmission here, right, ward off demonic entities and spirits and attract and summon angelic spirits, because I want this energy to be shared with y'all in a way where y'all experiencing negative entities being warded away from y'all, where y'all will be attracting angelic energies and entities to y'all through this transmission, where we divinely protected with righteous energies. We can sleep good at night, have a bright day tomorrow, which we will have as a result of our thinking that will reflect where our mood will reflect how we think on a divine level. Okay, now let's continue to read. Excuse me. Okay. This magnetic excuse me. This magnetic force field contains the ether particles. The ether particles, baby. This magnetic force field contains the ether particles of green light. Back to Al-Qaeda when the master teacher was like, he is Al-Qaeda in a degree where he is one of the light beings to heal, bring healing to the planet through this particular frequency of knowledge, right? Now, once again, let's say this magnetic force field, right, contains the ether particles of green light, which are waiting to be drawn into the body by the seats of the chakras, all 7 of them, from the root to the crown chakra, right? You're a halat. It's like a Nuwabic word for aura. Halat. Your halat contains your spirit, soul, and physical form. Now, we know that we are more than just a body. We have physical senses, a physical body, physical organs, and we have spiritual senses and spiritual organs, dealing with the astral realm, which is a realm where the creator and the creatress operates, that communicate with us on an infinite level, to where we are to have an understanding that ultimately we are spiritual beings, gods and goddesses having a human experience. is truly more to us that meets the eye. There's more to us that meets our third eye. Now, the halat is very often visible to those who have a sensitive and delicate sense of sight. We can see things due to our level of being spiritually sensitive. See, I know that because by me being attracted to certain spiritual things, I'm spiritually sensitive to where I'm working on my vibratory rate as far as me raising my vibrations. I am looking forward to doing the necessary work to enhance my inner being, my inner self, the God within, to the point where I become responsible in my conduct to act like I got some sense on a civilized level. That's what we all are here for on the planet. The planet is raising in vibration as well. The changes run so deep. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be alright. Now, for instance, right? Where we at? Now, this is starting to get off into the colors. You know what I'm saying? Of the colors of our auras, which can be of multiple colors. For instance, our auras can be one or either of these colors, right? Red, blue, yellow, green, black, white, gray, brown. Now, I want to elaborate more on what the colors represent, but I just go into a couple of them right here. But this is reading, right? Red is a color which projects or encourages desire and disagreeableness. Red reflects the moods of persons dwelling on the lower state of the physical plane. It is also the color depicting anger, sin, or even bloodshed and lust. Now, is there any positive aspects to the root chakra, red root chakra? As far as the instincts for survival, food, clothing, and shelter, you know what I'm saying? But it also has those other elements that can be regulated and controlled, where one don't act out pretty much on the savage level. But yeah, you know, it is a root chakra level to where a person will be more concerned with, you know, they immediate needs get met pretty much. The blue color. Blue reflects a highly spiritual mood and the various qualities of man, such as devotion, faith, and piety. Various levels of this mood are reflected in different shades, tints, or hues. The color yellow. Yellow is a color which reflects intellect or a total state of consciousness. Yellow about the halat, but within it shows intellect in a person, right? The brighter the hue, the purer the stream of mentality or mental energy, and the greater intellect one has. Whenever the color is dull or dingy, the thoughts and moods of that individual, the thoughts and moods of the person are either slow or out of tune with the mental plane. Yellow encourages reason, judgment, analysis, or the use of logical mental activities. The color green. Green, dealing with light, is a mood, a most divine mood, which is reflected from the heavens of the mental plane. Green, like white, is a healing force, except the green light is much more powerful, potent, and a purified force. The green light. Now, black is not a color, but a supreme state of mind. Black is supreme balance, or black is beautiful, serene, a supreme, comfortable, supreme state of balancement. Black is the total absence of moods and colors. It is the absence of all imbalancement. The color white. White is a state of purity of the mind and soul. White does not project a mood, but a force. White reflects one of the healing forces. White light is a color which is a combination of red, green, and blue blended in equal parts. White is a state of purity of mind and soul. White does not project a mood, but a force which reflects one of the healing forces. You know what I'm saying? Now, particular individual asks a particular question, right? But this goes on to say, so whatever your mood is or state of mind you are in, your aura will project these colors. I wrote several books on this subject over the years, such as From Allah to Man, or the Most High to Man, which will be coming out again. Remember, all colors mixed together is black as melanin. Now, what's the science of melanin? We're going to go into that, right? So, a person asks one more question regarding the aura. And I can't wait. So can a person's aura rub off on you? Now this is important. Notice how people's energies can be unwanted in your energy field, where you feel like they're an energy vampire trying to drain you, or they're around you to the point where your good energy and your good aura giving them energy. But at the same time, by you being a healing source and force for them, still you feel like you're being taxed to a degree where you feeling kind of drained. Not necessarily that they're an energy vampire, but still, you know what I'm saying, our good energy has a way of escaping us, because we got to deal with society. We got to socially deal with people, period, throughout the course of the day. You know what I'm saying? And still maintain the integrity of our good character as a product of our thinking based on who we are and what we stand for. You know what I'm saying? So we mean well, but we still have to watch out for this. We have to watch out for the energy vampires. Now check this out, right? The question again. Can a person's aura rub off on you? Yes, that's why I used to warn people about, about wearing other people's clothing and other items that belong to other people, sleeping in other people's beds, right down to the company that you keep. Yo, we all can relate to this, man. Come on now. Use your mind, use your brain, baby. We can relate to this. Is real talk, y'all. This is real talk. For real, for real. Yo, this is real life. Live and living color. Dealing with the Tempe Hesp, the auras. Yes, that's why I used to warn people about wearing other people's clothing, other items, sleeping in other people's beds, right down to the company that you keep. That's why you have to be careful of the company that you keep. The purer, the purer the person, the brighter his or her aura or halak will be, and vice versa. The more contaminated a person is, the more darker they aura will be. So you be the judge of what you dealing with when it comes to a certain light that people carry. You can see it. Now watch this. That's why you have to be careful of the company that you keep. The purer the person, the brighter his or her aura. The brighter they halak will be, and vice versa. The halak is not something that you can wash away with detergent or bleach. Wait a minute. The aura is not something that you or we can wash away with detergent or bleach. The halak or aura is not something that we can wash away with detergent or bleach. This is something from deep within that can't be washed away with detergent or bleach. So what can it be cleansed with? Through becoming purified, through inner spiritual cultivation with right knowledge and pure thinking. So it's a remedy to get right within, to get that light right. You know what I'm saying? Thank the Most High for that wisdom. Now beware, because a halak rarely stays the same. It reflects the moods, intricate moods of the person, and moods are constantly changing with every thought between females and males. The halak is apt to change more in females because woman, right, are affected by the planets, their positions and moves, the planets, their positions, and the moon, while men are not affected by those things, but yet we are in tune with the cosmos. planetary bodies. And we get light code transmissions as well from these particular heavenly bodies and things that's going on in the cosmos too, man. We have certain senses in regards to certain realities, you know what I'm saying, that may be different from our women, but still, you know what I'm saying, we channel certain cosmic communications as well. Now remember, the purer the aura, you know what I'm saying, the brighter the aura, the purer you are from your thoughts. So let's keep it clean, you know what I'm saying? Let's pride ourselves on wanting to be better versions of ourselves. We're gonna keep it going, you know what I'm saying? Last night I went in for about an hour and a half. I'ma just go with the flow. I'm gonna just keep going with the flow with this. You know what I'm saying? With this transmission. Now, in addition to talking about the aura, the magnetic force field surrounding the body can be seen through Kirlian photography as well. You know what I'm saying? It can be picked up by certain technologies just to confirm that our body do give off colors, vibrations, and certain magnetic energy or certain magnetic force field, electromagnetic force field that can be seen and can be felt and perceived as a reflection of the mental mood of an individual or atmosphere of a person. Now, let's take it here, right? Certain teachers, leaders, or what they call priests, imam, sheikhs, or what have you. We trying to be well learned and well versed and seasoned, you know what I'm saying, in our original cultural customs and norms and folkways in terms of being what our ancestors, our forefathers and mothers were, right? There was a saying in the Bible that the Most High would not have us to be ignorant. We are considered beings of the Most High to where we have brain power, right? I'm not power tripping. It's just that I experienced a situation that required for me to become a thinker. I remember them times. Wow. It really taught me a lot about myself. You know, dealing with certain circumstances and situations, certain experiences. You know, that was, I don't know, it's like I had to go through certain things only for me to turn out to be all the way right, you know what I'm saying? And to really, you know, be in a state of mind to want to really get right. And as a product of that kind of like pushing that direction from my own self, it got me on the right track and on the path, baby. I don't get off of it for nobody. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's go deeper what is our relationship to these extraterrestrial realities? The UFO phenomena, the crop circles, the different schools of thought, the ancient temples and megalithic structures, and monolithic structures, and planetary societies, underground subterranean worlds, and aquatic worlds, where we learning about the world in which we live. Like it was a saying. It was like, okay, like what school you go to. In life, you pursue certain education, and you thinking you learning certain things, that'll cause you to end up being able to take very good care of yourself in a system such as this, to work a good job, nice house, car, money in the bank. You know what I'm saying? As a product of your learning from certain universities. But yet you don't know nothing about the universe. That's real talk. So here it is. The master teacher brought us a certain universal knowledge that really taught us about the universe and our place in it. For instance, it's certain projects that's going on dealing with some alternative knowledge. Like for instance, right? It was this introduction that the master teacher put forth for us to take into consideration, to where it was necessary for him to talk about certain things in the introduction of this particular book, right? And there's other books where you say, oh, this book, it needs no introduction. So for the sake of this particular line of reasoning, going off into this particular topic that we finna go off here, is thought-provoking. You know what I'm saying? And it expands our consciousness to greater realities that's relevant to what's going on now in amongst the governments of the planet. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with the geopolitical picture. You know what I'm saying? That's socially happening around the globe regarding greater concerns about why things the way that they are, you know what I'm saying, today on the planet in our everyday society. Okay, this particular introduction here stated that here it is, 1999 in the year 2000 and beyond, right? And 2023 is on its way, right? And there are people still missing the whole picture. Hey, not making fun of you, but it's real talk. A lot of people still missing the whole picture. That these teachings been shedding light on since 1967 and the opening of the Seventh Seal in 1970 up until today, going into 2023, where the master teacher mentioned about a half hour has elapsed already, where another half hour that would be equivalent to 60 years, right, is trying to creep on in too. And he was like, time is gonna creep up on you. 30 years plus years have already been by him, you know what I'm saying, doing the knowledge, dropping the science out here for us to get. Some of us have it, but time is steady ticking. And he also said when it comes to the tick in the top, with the tick in the top, time has sped up because the talk is not there now. But even though in between the tick and the talk, right, there was a certain relevant aspect of time there. But in the white man's world, or the world of the Hekakatsu, or the Canaanites, or